What's up guys, it is Vale here. Yes, I had a name change from Divine to Vale. Deal with it. But basically today, I just want to be starting this new kind of a series thing that I want to do, where I'm just commentating over some gameplay and just discussing like a certain topic, you know, anything really. Talking to you guys can be anything. And for the video today, I'm going to be talking about why I absolutely hated school. This is just for British schools. Let me know what it is wherever you live, how it is, if it's any different. But before we get into the video, I just want you guys to see my amazing play right here in this game. I see the basketball, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna play with this. I try punch it, shoot it once, fail, shoot it twice, and I'm off the map. Start of the game. I'm fucking great at Overwatch. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Okay, now that's over with. Let me basically talk about like how a British school is. Everybody wears uniform. We all have like an allocated uniform. And from what I understand, for Americans, they have something called GPA, which is grade point average, which is what they have at like the end of their school days. But, for us, it's called GCSEs, where we have exams, and then from those exams, we get a certain grade. And for pass, it's a C grade. So, like to pass, you usually get a C, B, or an A. Now, why do we go to school, right? If you ask your teacher, oh, why are we here? What do you do in school? They will tell you that they're preparing you for your future. And you can't really argue against that. That is what school is apparently for, to prepare you for your future. Now, what do they even teach us that's relevant to our future? Like, why do we need to learn, like, the quadratic equation or Pythagoras, or why the fuck do we need to learn how to work out a triangle, right? They're just like, oh, you know, fuck teaching them first aid where they could potentially save a life. Let's teach them how to work out a triangle. That'd be brilliant for their future, wouldn't it? Really fucking wouldn't. But no, seriously, like, school has always taught us completely irrelevant stuff that would generally help us in our future. Like, yeah, okay, I'd say about 10% of maths would be useful for our lives, you know, like percentages, you know, basic, like, working stuff out. But when they go so in depth to like incredibly confusing stuff which you will never ever use in your life, that time that they're spending teaching you that, where you're sitting there not interested, just sitting there depressed because like you're thinking, why do I need this? This is not what I want to do. Like, let's say for example, if you wanted to do something with music in your life, where they're teaching you this irrelevant stuff you could be using on music time. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't know how to pay tax. I don't know what I'm voting for when it comes to like political parties, because we've never been told this stuff. I don't know how to get a mortgage out for a house whenever I feel like moving out one day. And did you know that there's 30 human rights? Do you know any of them? Like, why do we not learn this stuff? And the next thing that I want to say is teachers try and like encourage the fact that schools try and promote uniqueness and try and promote individuality. You know, they like people to be like themselves, which is complete bullshit. Because for one, everybody has to wear the exact same uniform. That's one thing that takes away their uniqueness. And then a lot of schools, they restrict you to what your hair can be like. So if it's a certain length of if it's like so short, they will like keep you out of a classroom. They'll put you in like a confined space where you'll be in there for the whole day. You won't be with your classmates or anything just because of your haircut. How ridiculous is that? They say you can't wear certain earrings because I don't fucking know why. They just don't like people being themselves. And you know, school and prison. I know a lot of people like joke around when they like compare the two, but they literally do have two very similar concepts. For example, both prison and school follow a dress code, which you cannot break, or you'll be in trouble. Another thing, they have allocated lunch times, to where like you cannot eat anywhere until that time. You're not allowed to like eat anything until that specific time, which is a bit silly to be honest. And you have to follow like certain lines. Like if you're in the corridors, you have to like be in a line together. Like when lining up outside a classroom, to be in like a certain line. You can't get out of that line or you're in trouble. But one thing that prisons have more fucking freedom for is going to the toilet. Over here, if you're in the middle of class, you're not allowed to go to the toilet, which is a human right. And this is my biggest issue out of everything that I've said so far, this is my biggest issue. I'm sure that you're all aware of the terms like kinesthetic learners, auditory learners, etc. It's basically saying if you're an auditory learner, then you learn well by listening or like watching people demonstrate. I can't remember. But then there's people that are kinesthetic learners, like me, for example, and we're people that learn by doing. Now, when you're in school, no, I'm talking about high school, by the way. When you're in like high school, pretty much everything is like theory based. When we never do anything practical, like we're never learning by doing, we're always learning by watching and listening, which straight away puts people that are kinesthetic learners at a disadvantage because they can't learn well that way. That's not how they like excel at learning, which is one thing that I really struggled with when I was in school. Which then brings me to the exams. Because every single exam, every single person in the school is examined the exact same way. We are all given the exact same paper with like the exact same questions, which then brings me to the point before. There's auditory learners which learn well by watching, so they're at a more advantage, whereas kinesthetic learners, we learn by doing. We don't like writing on paper, like we want to like be able to do stuff. And when you're given that grade, that one grade literally defines your life. Well, let me put it into perspective. I got a D in maths, right? And a D is a fail, and a C is a pass. I was 1 mark away from a C. Now, what they're basically saying is that 1 mark means I'm less qualified for anything. They're basically saying if I remembered one thing, I'd be more qualified for a job. Which is just fucking... How does that make any sense? Like, government, please. But yeah, that's basically like my little rant, like a little topic discussion. If you enjoyed this, you know, let me know. Any feedback, anything, hate, anything, you know, just put it down in the comments. I love you all. Let me know if you want to see more of this. So if you've got any topics you'd like me to talk about, then go for it. Because I know that I have an extremely beautiful voice, I've been told. Anyway, peace.